What's up, guys? Probably not going to be doing a an actual battle thing today. A couple people kind of wanted to see a deck profile-y slash more analytical kind of video. So I'm actually just going to go to Deck Builder. I will answer some of these questions while I do this, and then I will actually build or try to build a deck. I already built one, but for all intents and purposes, I'm actually going to delete it because the previous one actually ended up glitching up. I wish I knew how to delete that. I'll probably delete it later, or I'll just save over it. That'll probably be the best thing to do. Let's look at questions first off. Let's see. Just a suggestion, maybe add a Caterpie in Metapod, as Metapod's ability stops any grass type having a weakness. You are absolutely right. That is probably an interesting thing to be running. Bit of a wasted spot on the bench, but it's a handy ability. I'll give it some thought, see if I can squeeze it in somewhere. Let's see. Answering questions. What do I got? How do we go about making a deck? How many energy cards, trainer cards? Let's load my current deck. No, not start a new one. Let's load it. Oh, open an existing deck. I think I just did that. I'm dumb. Okay. How do we go about making a deck? How many energy cards, trainer cards, Pokemon, etc.? Any basic strategies? Okay. Now, the thing I kind of wanted to base this deck around was Sunflora, and, being able to do stuff with it, because its ability is once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass Pokemon, as was indicated, in multiple uploads before this. This allows you, to search for your second Sunflora, get everything set up on the bench fairly quickly. Jumpluff benefits a lot from having things on the bench, and, does 10 damage times the number of Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. So the more things you can get set up, the quicker, the better. It just benefits everyone. Having Virizion, because it's a nice basic Pokemon that does a lot of damage and does not need to evolve in order to do that damage. It also has a little bit of healing to it. So Meganium is also there, if I want to get some energies off of anything that I need to. I kind of want another Meganium going on in this deck, just in case this one ends up in the prize card. One's been fine, thank God it hasn't ended up in the prize cards, knock on wood, but Leaf Trance is a pretty handy ability because you can move, the grass energy around as much as you want. So if you fear that one of your Pokemon is in danger of dying at the beginning of the next turn, you can shift it off of the active, or shift stuff into the active, retreat it, and then send out something fresher. So, complete manipulation of your energy, complete manipulation of your Pokemon. Well, this is manipulation of your active energy. I kind of need stuff that will allow me to play energy quicker. So, there's another Pokemon I kind of want to put in this deck, which is Sawsbuck. Just 10 more damage for each grass energy attached to both you and your opponent's Pokemon. If I had a way to attach energy quicker, I would definitely consider using Sawsbuck. But the thing is I don't. I just have ways of moving it around. So it's been a thought that I've had. Green draw a card for each of your grass Pokemon in play. Another thing I've kind of been interested about, but it requires 2 energy to do it. If it was 1, that would be a hell of a lot better. Since you could, draw up to 6 cards in one turn, and that would allow you to get set up a little bit quicker. But we've kind of seen what my deck is all about. I have a Shaman in here just so, in case I don't get Meganium set up early enough. Shaman's ability is basically the same as Meganium's, and then, it acts like a potion when you attack for every one of your Pokemon that has at least 1 energy on it. So if you need to heal stuff and you have Meganium on the bench, you can put 1 energy on everything that needs healing and then just go from there. I don't think I've ever actually had a match where I need to play with that kind of a technique, but I have that technique available to me, and it helps. So let's move on to the trainers slash items things I have going on. I realize that I don't have a lot of the staple cards that I need fully. I know Pokemon Communication is, a must. You pretty much need to have 4 of those in your deck if you want to have an efficient thing going on. It lets you take a Pokemon from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, and you end up shuffling your deck anyway, so you don't draw it next, but you put it on top of your deck. Look for a Pokemon you need, so it swaps a Pokemon that you don't need from your hand for a Pokemon you do need, dead handy card. Pokemon Catcher is you switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon of your choice. So having a lot of these in your deck will allow you to eliminate things that are getting set up too early, or it'll allow you to get something out that has a high retreat cost, meaning that they won't be as efficient with their movements. It can stop them, pretty well, depending on how you play it. Junk Arm is you can thin out some of the things that you don't need in your hand for one of these items that you do need. You basically use it on the items. So I have 2 revives here just in case they try to nip out something like, you know, my Hobbit, which only has 30 energy, so that's very possible. Sunkern only having 40, and, you know, reviving a Verizia never hurt anybody. I have a lot of stage 2s in my deck. Well, not really a lot. I have 2 Jumplufs and a Meganium, but evolving a Hoppip to a Jumpluff is, you know, never really a bad thing. Or Chikorita into my only Meganium. It lets you... How Pokemon work is it's basic, stage 1, and stage 2. So that would be Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, basically anything with 3 stages to it would be... the final stage would be stage 2. So... this counts as evolving that Pokemon. As always, you are not allowed to evolve a Pokemon on the first turn that it has been put into play. Having a switch in there just because, you know, sometimes switching out is a good idea. I don't really feel the need to clog my deck with too many of those because Jumpluff is a free retreat cost. On to my supporters. Seeker is kind of here just to get rid of damage counters on things I already have out. My next deck that I'm using is actually probably going to be using Seekers. A lot of them anyway. But what I can do from here... well, first off, I'm going to need Seekers, but we'll talk about my deck my new deck when I get to it. Professor Oak's New Theory, you know, pretty handy card as well. Shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 6 cards. So, good to go. Pokemon Collector is also a staple card that you want to have going on. It lets you get set up fairly early, and, you know, the more of them you have, the better it's going to be for you to get the basics going on in your hand for either Pokemon communication or to fill up your bench. And if you don't need them, you can always junk arm them. So that's why it pays to have more junk arms. I myself need more junk arms and Pokemon catchers and collectors, but I'm getting there. You know, it's a work in progress kind of thing. This deck has a little bit of a deficiency in terms of getting energies into my hand. So I have interviews questions here. It lets you look at the top 8 cards of your deck, choose as many as you like, show them to your opponent. So since I'm not as efficient with actually getting my energy out into play, I kind of need to stock my deck with a decent amount of it. I know some decks can afford to run less. This deck, you know, has a good synergy with the Pokemon themselves, just not necessarily with the energy. So some decks have weaknesses, and we can just kind of go from there. But MC's Chatter acts like either Sharon or Bill. This is the Ghetto Sharon, since, you know, you only have a 50-50 odds of doing that. You do need more Sharon, so I don't have to run those. But Copycat, shuffle your hand into your deck, then you draw a number of cards equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. Examples where this would be better than Professor Oak's New Theories when your opponent has 7 or more cards, if they're kind of a draw-heavy deck. You know, it's pretty circumstantial. If, say, they had 9 cards in their hand, and you had a P.O.K. and a Copycat in your hand, I would obviously be using the Copycat if I'm not, you know, in fear of overdrawing. I have 19 energies in this deck because, as I mentioned, I do need to get energy out and going. I really probably don't need a lot once it's in play, but I still kind of fear because I can't get it back from the discard pile because I'm not running any Fisherman or any cards that allow me to do that. So this is probably what I have going on with this deck. I can talk about the next deck as I build it. I'll kind of just go into detail on that one. Let's see what I got going on. How about a deck build guide? Sure, I will be working on that in the next bit with my Lost Zone deck. What's your favorite card? I don't know. I kind of like Virizion. I kind of like Jumpluff, as you can see. You know, if I built a deck kind of around getting Jumpluff to go. And Jumpluff and Sunflora. I like Sunflora's ability, but I like Jumpluff. It's dead fucking handy, so. How to get good cards without buying any packs in real life? You can buy codes online. I've never actually had to buy them because I've actually had people, like, you know, my reliable subscribers buy packs and are like, hey, you know, I'm not going to play TCG, I just want to watch you play it. I'm like, thank you, that really helps me. Or, you know, they end up trading me cards for cards I already have thanks to these codes. So that's kind of how I work around. But in real life, you know, there are the codes built into some of the packs. I think the black and white ones. Let's see what we got going on. Could you show us how to build a deck? Yeah, let me run through the rest of the questions first, and then I'll be good to go. Let me see. I will explain Reshiboar in a little bit. It's a very popular deck. I'm kind of making one as well, so we can look at that really quick. Do what Fizzy did and get a tutorial on how to get better cards. No, you can just go look at Fizzy's video. I can just link that in the description. I mean, if someone already did it, you know, it's kind of redundant for me to make this video, but I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. If someone's pretty much already explained what's going on. So, analysis of the TCGO meta. Both Fizzy and Cash, if I've been playing it a hell of a lot longer than I have, I kind of have a basic understanding of it to where I can kind of explain to you guys what's going on simply, but I'm still not at that point where, you know, I feel like I know a really good portion of it, unlike the video game. So, still a little bit of a greenhorn, but I kind of know what's going on. So, it'd be great if you could use your other deck. I have a fire deck that I'm working on, which is a Reshiboar deck. And I have a Lost Zone deck, which I will list cards that I need in the description. So you guys can, if you have any of them, they would be much appreciated. Can you please use another deck besides your grass deck? I would like to. The other two decks are still very much in construction. I'll be working on it, so it's a work in progress. The instant I get the Lost Zone deck built up, I really want to use that. That's going to be fucking hilarious. I can imagine doing the wave Minchino wrecking shop with your deck. I do definitely want that going in my deck. I would probably drop a couple of energies, or yeah, I could probably drop a couple of energies just to get that going, then augment it so it caters a little bit better to it. I do need Chinchinos though. I have plenty of Minchinos, but I would need Chinchinos going. Or which is it? Is it Chinchino that's a little one? Fucking stage 1. You guys get it. How do you start out the game? Do you get a basic deck? Do you have to buy cards? I think when you do the trainer challenge in game, it lets you you play through it, and then after a certain point, it gives you the deck so you can start using it. It's been so long since I played through the trainer challenge. I already finished all 3 of them. If there's more, then you know I'll probably play those through. But at this moment, I'm not aware if there's any more than just the 3 trainer challenge cup thingies. Okay. Why you do all the things? Because abilities and good stuff. So, how do you win? Did the opponent run? No, I'll go ahead and explain that, or I think someone probably already explained it. Let's see. I think they're watching old TCGO. Basically, anyone that's played the trading card game for the Game Boy Color has a pretty good understanding of this game. You know, Pokepowers are not a new concept to the game. Some of these trainers are a little bit new, but you kind of get a handle on them. So that's what's going on. Let's see what else is going on here. Is it free, and can we get a link to its website? Of course, I will, they are both free, and you will get a link, so, you should talk about how energies work. I'll probably talk about that in my, as I'm building this next deck. So, let's see what's going on. Let's see, what else we going on? Okay, I think we're done with all these comments, so I'm going to close off Microsoft Word because it's laggy as a bitch. Next thing I kind of wanted to show off, I changed something in this deck? No, I didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Okay. Now, I'm building a Reshiboar, as is indicated by the 2 Reshirams I have going on, and an Emboar. I do need a couple of other things. Let me explain the Pokemon first, because the trainers kind of work the same as the other ones, you know, staple trainers and whatnot. This Ninetales, I need probably, you know, maybe 2 or 2 more of these for sure. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So it acts like a Sharon with fire energy. Now, Typhlosion Prime is a very good card to work with Ninetales in that, well, let me show off what it does here. I don't know why I'm lagging so bad all of a sudden, but we'll show all the fire Pokemon. And where are we? Where is Typhlosion? Typhlosion. Let's make this a large view. And all of a sudden my laptop fan is going crazy. What? Okay, full art Victini is pretty sweet. I'm not sorting by evolution chain. I'm sorting by rarity. And then Typhlosion will be up here somewhere. So Victini full art is pretty rare. I think I used to have one of these Typhlosions, and I ended up trading it off before I knew what Reshiboar was. So, or Reshiflosion, rather. Once during your turn, you may search your discard pile for a fire energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. So the stuff you throw away with Ninetales, you can get back with Typhlosion, and you can put it on Reshiram. Now, Reshiram benefits from having damage counters on it, because Typhlosion puts 1 damage counter for every fire energy. It'll benefit from that. It'll benefit from having the extra energy on it in order to use Blue Flare. So anything that Typhlosion does for Reshiram, it will appreciate. Reshiboar will get the energies in play in your hand. And as you can see, as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So you can manually power up Reshiram that way, but having Ninetales and Typhlosion with Reshiram will just allow you to be more efficient from the discard pile as opposed to from your hand. And, you know, discarding energies is a pretty popular theme in this game. So kind of the same trainers I had going on as the last one. For the most part, I do have to change out a couple of them, but you can be a little more conservative with your energies on this one, just because you have manipulation of the discard pile. I still need more Typhlosion. I think these are primes. I need more of the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Ninetales, and I'd definitely be comfortable with having 1 or 2 more Reshirams. So this deck is not complete. That's why I haven't been using it. I have the wrong Typhlosions going on in this deck. I would like another Embor, and I would like another one of the Ninetales that allows you to draw cards. So still kind of a work in progress kind of thing. But we'll go on to building an actual new deck. Now, the thing is that I've already kind of made one, but my microphone glitched out when I was trying to make it. So what I want to make is a Lost Zone deck. What the Lost Zone is it is a discard pile that you cannot get any cards back from. Now, how this deck is going to work, let me turn off this first. It's going to revolve around one stadium card, which is called, well, I need to turn off the show off filter first. It is called Lost World. And what this card does is, once during each player's turn, if that player's opponent has 6 or more Pokemon in the Lost Zone, the player may choose to win the game. So, in order to use this deck to its maximum efficiency, I need to put as many Pokemon, as many of my opponent's Pokemon into their Lost Zone as possible in order to win the game by using this technicality as opposed to anything else. So, that is going to be a staple. That is going to be the entire basis of my deck. So, drawing that card immediately, or, you know, as soon as I can just get stuff going, will be fantastic. Now, the cards that are going to help me out in this, Gengar. Gengar, assuming that the stuff is zoomed in with the face and stuff is prime. I could be wrong, but it has the Pokebody. Catastrophe, as long as Gengar is your active Pokemon. If you knock out a Pokemon, then you put it in the Lost Zone instead of discarding it. So all of the Pokemon attached to it, if it's like a Stage 2, then that's 3 Pokemon you get in the Lost Zone. You've already won the game halfway if you have Lost World out. And the instant you have 6 Pokemon in the Lost Zone, they cannot draw it out, so they are just sitting ducks the entire time. Hurl into Darkness is probably going to be your other modus operandi. You can look at your opponent's hand, choose the number of Pokemon you find there up to the number of Psychic Energy attached to Gengar. So get a lot of energy on Gengar, and you can snipe from their hand instead as opposed to sniping stuff that's out. Curse Drop is also used to put damage counters. You're going to have a lot of energy on Gengar just so you can use Hurl into Darkness more efficiently. I unfortunately only have one of these. I do need more of these in order to get this deck working. Spiritomb is going to be another help, but for now I'm actually going to add Ghastly and Haunter and Gengar. You guys know how that works. So I think I want to do 3-2-2. Just so in case I get a Ghastly discarded, then, you know, I'm not completely hosed. But 3-2-2, so I will need another Gengar. I'll probably list that in the description. The previous 2 evolutions don't really matter so much to me. Something interesting to have in this deck as well, I'm probably going to need 1 or 2 more of these, but this is Mime Jr. To get this little guy out early will be helpful because you put the top card of your opponent's deck in the Lost Zone. You can afford to spam this ability because it has no energy. And if you start pulling Pokemon at the beginning, then that is just fucking fantastic. Kind of want to run an Unknown just out of lack of any other ideas. But when you put Unknown from your hand onto your bench and you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on top of your deck in any order, which is kind of handy, but I still need to look into what entails a good Lost Zone deck. I do know that Spiritomb is a great help to this, so I'm going to put 2 of these bad boys in here. I think you might actually need 3 to run this, but Spooky Whirlpool is once during your turn, you may shuffle. It acts like the Professor Oak's new theory for the opponent, but the thing is if they don't have fucking, what is it? If they don't have Pokemon in their hand, then what am I trying to say here? If they don't have Pokemon in your hand, then Gengar won't really work. And there's another card I need for this deck. I think it's Mr. Mime, which actually lets you look at your opponent's hand. So having Mr. Mime and Spiritombs and Gengar going on, I will need Mime Jr. and Mr. Mime as well. So I need plenty of Mr. Mimes. But the other attack it has is Color Tag. You get to choose a type, and you do 10 damage to every Pokemon of that type your opponent has in play. So you can do some pretty good devastation gradually, but you're mainly just using it for the Poke Power. Now, the thing is, you can only use that Poke Power when you move it from your hand to the bench. So we're done with Pokemon for now. I'm going to need a lot more Pokemon. This deck is nowhere near complete, but I have a goal for what I want to do with it. Now, items and stuff are going to be kind of the same as to what I used in the other one, more or less. Probably going to want revives for my Mime Juniors, Mr. Mimes, Spiritombs in case they get knocked out. Gonna run some rare candies as well, so I can get another Gengar going if I have Ghastly, and you know, if I get another Gengar. So that's all I need to say. Catchers are staples, you know, just to nip out setups and stuff because reasons. And Pokemon communication will also be a staple, just to get as many of my Pokemon as I need going. You know, if I have a Haunter, and then I can very easily get a Mr. Mime going. I need to show off what that Mr. Mime actually does and why I'm needing it. Junk Arm, very much a staple. Just put those in your thing going on. That's all I really have for trainers. I'm tempted to put Great Ball, but I don't really need it. We'll turn off item filters, show off supporters. Now, what I want in here, I'm going to need more Seekers, because what this lets me do is it lets me put a Pokemon from their bench into their hand, and then this is how Gengar can work more efficiently. Knowing that there is a Pokemon in their hand during my turn, I can use that attack freely, and I can start putting stuff in the Lost Zone. So I'll have 2 Seekers. I'm probably going to want 1 or 2 more. I like having at least 2 Professor Oak's New Theory as well, just so you can shuffle your hand around more. Deck definitely needs more Pokemon Collector, since Mr. Mime is a basic Pokemon, Mime Jr. is a basic Pokemon. You know, Spiritom's a basic Pokemon. We'll be good to go from there. Judge will also be handy, since this will shuffle out the opponent's hand in case there really isn't anything good. I'll put 2 of those. All these cards are very easily adjustable in quantity. But I'm going to put a Sharon, and then I will put probably put an MC's, put 2 MC's Chatters, and I'm putting more trainers because I don't need to be too I don't need to worry about my energy too much, since I think the maximum cost on anything in this deck is 2, but the more Gengar can get going, and plus there are a couple of other things in this deck. Mime Jr., you know, will help out as well, but if I have 2 Gengars going, and I really need to just snipe out 6 to win the game, so I don't need a lot of energy, to be completely honest. Gengar doesn't even have a retreat cost. Mine Jr. doesn't have a retreat cost either, if I'm not mistaken, so I don't need a lot of energy to retreat or to attack, so I can afford to buff my energy, or my deck up with a little more trainer cards than I need to. So probably going to need some more Seekers going on for this deck and stuff, but let me show you guys what's going on with Mr. Mime and why he's kind of key to this deck. But I will show all. I will probably sort by name. That's probably going to be the easiest way to find them. Yeah, probably. We'll have to keep going a little bit. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to sort it out. Maybe sort by rarity. Maybe he's pretty rare. I don't know. I have no idea. Slowking, Mew, Lost Link. What is this? No. Search your deck for it. No, I don't. That is kind of counterproductive to my own deck. Need some more Gengars going on. Crobat, just don't think really helps. Wobbuffet will not help. I'm looking for Mr. Mime. Would like 1 more Spiritomb. That would be handy. Miss Magius, what does Miss Magius do? You may move a Psychic Energy attached from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon. So that would be pretty handy. You could also use Gengar's secondary attack with Psychic Pulse to do some good damage with that. So I could consider running some of those, but in reality, I'm just looking for Mr. Mime. What is this? Does 20 more damage for each Psychic Energy attached to this Pokemon. I don't think that's actually the one I'm... What is Magic Room? As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any items. That's like Jinzo from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's exactly like Jinzo. Okay, what is this? Once during your turn, choose a number of your... let's see. Oh, this is handy. Time Hollow, since you can remove the highest stage evolution from each of those Pokemon and then put them back in the hand for Gengar to snipe out as well. So you could retreat that and do that. I could also work with Jirachi, you know, just things thinking about in the top of my head. I don't think, actually, Mr. Mime is particularly that rare. I'm not finding it. It has a dead handy ability for this deck, though. So, what does Smoochum do? I know I'm going to need Psychic Pokemon because I only want to have 1 type going. Move an energy card attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one. Not really too useful, to be honest. What is this whole second sight thing going on? Top 3 cards of either player's deck, put them back in any order. Not really a good ability to have going. Not too useful, to be honest. Let's see. Here we go. This is what I need. Trick Reveal. Once during your turn, you may have both you and your opponents reveal your hand. I do not care, personally, if I don't have... or I don't care if I show them my hand. The thing is I need Mr. Mime in order to see my opponent's hands either before or after I start shuffling. So I need a couple of these. And that's how that works. So if you have a shit hand going on with your opponent, you can play Spiritomb down. They'll shuffle it. If you have another Mr. Mime, you can look then, play your odds. Basically, it's manipulating around the opponent's hand, using Gengar to scrap them, using Mime Jr. to scrap them from the top of the deck if you can. And once you get 6 and you have this in play, you're good to go. So I'm going to stock this with a couple energies as well, but there are definitely some things I need going on in this deck before I can deem it functional at all. So I'll probably look into what I need as I upload this video, make a list in the description. For now, I'm going to stock it with energy, save it, call it a day, and then from there I will just make a battle video, upload Penumbra. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. Kind of shows you what process I have for thinking about this, but I don't think I'm going to need that many psychic energies. I'll probably put like 15 just to be a little more conservative, because I'm going to need a lot more Pokemon going on as well. 7, 8. Now, I think the thing is with basic energies, you don't have a limit to them. Like, the game will give you as many as you need. So, I'll probably put 15 as soon as this thing hurries up. 12? No, I want more than 12. 13, 14, 15. That way I can afford to have 14 more Pokemon, or I probably won't even need 14 more Pokemon. I'll probably buff this full of trainers or just other things. So, this deck is not done, but I'll save it for now, and I'll work on it later. If any of you guys have the cards that I am requesting in the description, if you would like to trade those to me, that would be very, very much appreciated. I would really like to use this deck in action, or see this deck in action, and I'm sure you guys would too. So, I'll make a list, you guys can have that, and that'll do it for this kind of deck building / deck analysis thingy video. I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to call this. But I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. I'll have my battle video coming up shortly after this. It's going to be a pretty good game as well. I will have a Penumbra episode as well. And then I can't really talk, so I will just, I'll see you guys later.